And we're live. Thanks everyone for tuning in to Breaking the Seel Part Deux. We are super excited to be here. This is the second of the video series. We kicked it off last week. If you haven't watched that video, that's okay. You can go back and watch another time. We have the guys here from Breaking Bourbon, myself, Jordan, Eric, and Nick. And then with us from Penelope, we have Danny and Mike. So we're super excited. Just a quick recap before we explain what we're doing today. So last week, we met as a group and we chose from 6 different barrels. There was 3 of each type of mash bill. So we had a corn, we had a high rye, and I believe we had a wheated bourbon. Is that correct? Did I get those right, Danny? Yep, we did.
25% wheat.
Yep. So we had 2 of each. So we narrowed it down, and then we took those 3 barrels and we went off and we started doing blends. And we each individually came up with our best blends, sent it to Danny. And today we'll be going through those blends blind, created them on the fly, and voting for what's going to become the next Breaking the Seel bottle in that barrel line. So we're super excited. So the very first Breaking the Seel that came out, barreled at cask strength, 118.2, sold out super quick. Delicious bourbon. It was our first time we blended something like this together as a group. Came out great. We're super looking forward to number 2. But before we do, Nick, why don't you take a moment just to introduce everyone to who Breaking Bourbon is, and then we'll let the Penelope folks do the same.
Yeah, so hey guys, so Breaking Bourbon, find us online at breakingbourbon.com. Find us on all the socials at Breaking Bourbon. Reviews, release calendar, press releases, news, barrel picks, everything bourbon. We eat, sleep, breathe, drink, obviously bourbon. So follow us everywhere, interact. Bottles from this, for anybody that doesn't know, will end up being released to our single barrel club, which is through our Patreon. So if you want to, participate in that, you can join Patreon, and they will also be released through the Bourbonr club, which is from Blake from Seelbach, who's going to be joining us any minute now. So both groups will get to access these bottles first, and if there's any left over after that, they would go out to the public. So that's what we're doing here tonight.
And Danny or Mike, do you guys want to just give the audience at home just a brief overview of Penelope and what you guys represent in the bourbon world?
Yeah, no, definitely. Mike Palladini, my partner Danny. For those of you who don't know, we're a fairly new bourbon company. We started in about Danny? We kind of debuted in March 2019 out in New Jersey, and I've been kind of adding new markets since then. And for us, we always kind of look at ourselves as the bourbon for everyone. We've got a 4-grain, 80 proof expression. There's Blake, the big guy, finally made it. What's happening, man? What's up? Good to see you. And we got our cask strength expression. We actually just bottled batch 6 last week, and a few other expressions as well too. So looking forward to it. You can find us at penelopebourbon.com, on social media at Penelope Bourbon. Thanks for having us on. We're excited to be here.
Yeah, and Blake, we're just doing some introductions. Do you want to just let everyone at home know about Seelbach?
Yeah, for sure. So don't know what's been introduced, but I'm Blake from Bourbonr and Seelbach. If you're familiar with Penelope and Breaking Bourbon, you've probably seen me at one of these other live streams. But so Seelbach, we're the retailer for this. We focus on craft spirits and mainly distillers and bottlers, and kind of exactly projects like this. We're excited to do our own blend and to kind of bring something unique and different and really highlight guys who are just about transparency and all that good stuff. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, this will be really fun. And Blake, you weren't able to make the first go around with the barrel selection last week, but you did get the results. You did send your blends to Danny, and I think we're all looking forward to it. I think we all know last time.
I don't know if anybody remembers the movie Rudy, but I think what happened was the underdog, I had to miss the first one, but I have a good feeling about this one, well, we'll see what happens. But on the last go round, my blend and Jordan's blend were definitely up there. They were neck and neck, and I did lose out on that first one. But I think, Danny, give me like a wink and a nod if you think what I gave so far was one of the best.
Well, like throw me a 20, man. Throw me like a 20.
It's funny. You use the Rudy analogy. I thought this was just going to be like Rocky #2 where Rocky prevails again. So, we'll see what happens, but we'll go from there.
Just keep in mind that it's pre-scripted. So,
yeah. It's definitely not non-scripted.
So, why don't we start just by, Danny, why don't you give out the blends, right? We can do one at a time. We can go through each one, or you can give them all at once and we can have them mellow a little bit and then talk about them. But I do think the goal is to go through all 4 blends. We have no idea what each other submitted. We're truly looking to pick out the best blend of those 3 barrels that we picked so that those at home who actually get a bottle have something really that they're looking forward to sharing and drinking with friends. So with that in mind, I'll let you randomly pick the first blend to give out, Danny, and just tell us, what we should be mixing with here, the milliliters, and we'll go from there.
All right, yeah. I'd be surprised if you guys know what your own blend is because I converted everything to milliliters and then kind of evened it out across the board. So the first blend we're going to go with.
Danny, were there any that were like super close between us? And that's always my concern is like, I'm going to pick the same one as somebody else.
No, I was shocked. Like as they kept coming in, I was like, somebody's going to do the same blend. Nobody did the same blend, and they're all actually a little different. You have both ends of the spectrum, and then you have a couple options in the middle. So you're like really going through the whole gamut here.
Cool.
Interesting.
And Danny, just to back up for those that didn't watch last week, so we selected, what were the barrels that were selected? It was 1B,
2B, 3A.
3A. That's right. Awesome.
Yeah, and these were all roughly about 4 to 5 year, 21% rye, 45% wheat, and 99% corn mash bills out of MGP.
Have we revealed which one is the corn, which one is the wheat, which one is the rye? Because I have my assumptions, but
we did. Clearly, somebody did not watch the video recap, but that's okay.
Nobody likes a good guessing.
okay.
I'll hold it against you, but that's okay. That's okay.
Congratulations, Paul. I just saw a note pop up. Paul just had his baby girl Penelope born. Congratulations. Hope mom and baby are healthy.
Congrats.
Cheers
That's
to
awesome,
that.
man.
He
Big fan to that name over here.
No.
That's awesome.
All right, you want to jump into blend 1?
Let's do blend 1.
All right, blend 1 is it goes heavy on that 3A, the corn bourbon.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
3A is corn.
Let's start with 1B. 1B is the 21% rye. That's 2 milliliters.
I got mine here.
You guys have your pipettes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
All right. 2B is the 45% wheat mash bill. That's 1 milliliter.
Just a little wheat. Going a little wheat.
And then 3A is 6 milliliters. So going heavy on the corn.
So, and I know those following along at home don't care as much, but I was 3 for 3 on my picks of which was.
They were hard though this go around. Some of them
They were. So I was 3A really stuck out as that 99% corn, but 1B and 2B, I'm like, these are. It's really interesting. And so what was it? It was 2B is 45% wheat. Which. Man, and I'm sure y'all talked about this on the first one, but a lot of spice, a lot of different notes that you don't expect out of that that wheat blend or mash bill.
Do you want
definitely one of the more interesting wheat bourbon mashes we've seen in the past.
Should we talk about this blend, or should we let it mellow and just do all the 3 blend and do the remaining 3 blends too?
I think we let them mellow. I think we.
There we go. There we go. All right. What should we mix up for number 2, Danny?
All right. Number 2 is 1B is 3 milliliters of the 21 rye. So 1B, 3 milliliters. And then 3 milliliters of the corn, the 2B. I mean the wheated bourbon, sorry.
Yeah.
So you're going even parts on the on the rye and the wheat. And then you're going 6 milliliters on the corn, the 3A.
Okay, another heavy 3A one.
Another heavy 3A one, yeah. Which, by the way, that barrel, for all intents and purposes, was also delicious in and of itself.
It was.
Yeah, so the first blend we did was about 70% of that 3A barrel. This is about 50% of the 3A barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Try that again.
All right. What do we got for the third blend now?
All right. 1B is 1.5 milliliters. So try to find the middle point in this thing. 6 milliliters of the 2B, which is the wheat.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I like
a deviation, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be different.
And 1.5 of the corn, the 3A.
All right.
Yeah, I'm interested in that one. Number 4, the last one.
But not least.
No.
Definitely not least.
You said that was 1.5 of the 3A. Sorry, I was blending while you were saying that.
Yep.
Okay.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. The last one is 3 milliliters of the 1B, which is the rye. 6 of the wheat, which is the 2B.
Oh, another. Yeah.
Yeah. And then 3 of the corn.
Nice.
Oh, it is some good deviation there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
They're
were
all
all
over the
nowhere close to each other.
Nope.
So
And
you
then
know
what'd
what?
you say
You
it
know
was
what's
3 of the 3A.
yeah.
What was the last one?
Wow. Cool.
So you know what's interesting is nobody went totally heavy like Breaking the Seal Part 1.
Yeah.
Nobody went heavy on the rye. You know, so it's kind of like we kind of shifted gears, and now it's kind of like a battle of the wheat and the corn mash bills.
Yeah.
You know, and then you kind of like you're testing out at like 70% of the corn, and 50% of the corn, and then 70% of the wheat and 50% of the wheat. So it's definitely interesting.
So that's actually a good question. What will the remnants of these 3 barrels, what will take place with those? Will you guys blend them into something else?
I will most likely put them in a tote and bring them to my house, and I will have bourbon at my house for the entire summer. That
There
is
you go.
kind of generally the plan. What I plan.
I was told that it was going to be the Seelbach's B side. And
Yeah.
What a great name for
We
bourbon.
are. We're gonna
Right,
do the. We're gonna roll it back. Maybe what we do. Here's an idea. Here's something interesting. Maybe what we do is we create a blend with for maybe a couple months later we'll create a blend with some of the leftover juice from the barrel, and then we do a custom char and toast.
Hey,
Absolutely.
like that. That's
Right on.
and I actually like
Well,
that.
I'm
beast
throwing
too,
everything
yeah.
on the table today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day, guys.
Yeah. Danny, what was blend number 2 again?
Blend 2 was 3 milliliters of the 1B, 3 milliliters of the 2B, and 6 of the 3A.
6 of that 3. This 3A is nice. I forgot. These things have been sitting on my desk.
2, and 3.
I could take a bath in the 3A.
I'm kind of doubling all mine here if I get a little more.
And now tell me this. Hold on. What was it? It was 2, 2, and 3.
Which
Number 2.
number
Sorry.
2 was 3, 3, and 6.
3, 3, and 6. Okay. What was 3A significantly lower proof? Do we have we gotten to that part yet? Because just tasting them, I'm like, man, this tastes way less, and then 1B to me seemed significantly darker. I don't know if that's been mentioned as well, but
Yeah.
1B was definitely the funky barrel that stood out to all of us, Blake. Like that was as we discussed these last time, it was 3A was kind of what we said would be, if I'm not mistaken, the base bourbon. Like we thought 3 or the base whiskey, 3A was the base whiskey, 1B was a wild card, and 2B was just good too. So
Blake, the 1B, these rye barrels that we were tasting through to come up with the 1B, I mean, they were out of these like Kelvin cooperages, and these barrels look like they've been around for a long time.
Yeah. I found them, these things look like we found them in like Normandy, France. I mean, they look like they've been around for 60 years. They're really, really, they look like they're 100 years old. So they look really cool.
And we were just getting these like really like these like deep notes out of them that were just like, funky.
yeah, good apt description.
What was it? I think on 1B, I think somebody said ginger as a tasting note, and it kind of had a bite to it like ginger does.
Yep. So that first blend was a nice amount of spice on it, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, like the blended mash bill on that is 88% corn.
Interesting.
Wow.
So that out of these 4 blends, that's the highest. That's the highest corn.
I think from a Penelope Bourbon side, I think the highest corn mash we've ever done in a blend maybe was 76.
Interesting. Yeah. Eric, what do you think about that first one?
I like the nose. It sticks out among the 4. I think I like the nose on 3 the best, but the first one is pretty interesting. I guess I give it credit for being the most interesting on the nose. Yeah. I haven't tasted them yet, but
3 definitely grabs me.
What's really interesting between all of these is I feel like while our blends are much different than I remember the first round of Breaking the Seal to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't, I'm getting very nuanced differences, like much smaller differences than I remember on the first one. I'm kind of searching again for which is my blend, and I'm trying to figure out how I persuade everybody else to get my blend because they're all really good. Yeah. So 3, I definitely get a really good nose out of, which I like.
Yeah.
One of the things I think one of the big differences between part 1 and part 2 is basically I think the mashes across all 3 are pretty stand out in their own kind of unique way. Mm-hmm. Whereas I think in part 1 you had this like standout 21% rye mash.
Yep.
To me, that's how I would look at it. I mean, these are all really unique and different in their own way, and I think that's probably the biggest difference. I guess.
Yeah, I'd say when I approached it too this time, I was a little less methodical and kind of just try different things. If I liked where something was going, I pushed the envelope on that farther that direction. I just did one at a time, went through it, and then from that I said, what do I feel like I want more of or less of, and move that direction versus the first time where I did a bunch of pre-blends across the whole spectrum and then really kind of went through and compared. This time, one at a time, just kept moving till I felt like I found where it all kind of worked in the final one.
Yeah, what was everyone's kind of like, mythology or premise for blending this time? Was it similar to what you did on the first one? Was it different? I know with mine, it was a little bit different because I kind of just took notes on each barrel, and then I said, well, I really like this one. Let's highlight it. And like, it wasn't quite the same. Whereas I felt like last time we needed to highlight one barrel, I feel like it was more about the blend this time than anything else.
Yeah, that was for me too, Blake. I went through and I thought I had one of the barrels was going to be my base, did one blend, quickly changed tracks, found the right base barrel on my second try, and then just did a few deviations and quickly locked in on what I wanted.
Yeah, I'd say last time too, Blake, I got the feeling because that one barrel was so darn good. I guess I was just thinking everyone was going to go high on it. So I almost deliberately moved away from doing that, just wanting to get something different. So I worked that side that first time, whereas this one, I didn't have any really, preconceived guess of what I thought. I had a couple ideas, but nothing as concrete as that. So I felt a little bit more open to kind of just take it the direction I wanted to overall.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the interesting part is I started with a base blend of a third, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do a third, and then I'm going to go heavy on this barrel and lighter on these other two. All right, then I'm going to go heavier on this or a different barrel and go lighter on the other two. And then from there, I started playing around with like, all right, what if I feel like, to me, this is the fun part because it's like it's exactly how you want to drink bourbon, and I want to drink bourbon that it is kind of hits this peak. It hits a lot of spice in the middle, and then comes back to sweetness and fruitiness and different notes on the finish. And I feel like I got to that. It just took a little more drinking than expected, which is not always a bad thing either.
Somebody's got to do the heavy lifting. Madeline, luckily, grab a drink, Madeline.
Yeah. I'm just curious, nobody went towards the rye barrel.
That was number 3.
That was one.
That was one
B.
Right?
I think it was it was too overwhelming.
I went heavy on that in a couple of my blends, and to me, it got a little more tannic and just like almost mouth puckering on the finish of what I was trying to do. And I think with a blend or a small batch, what we're doing, like you want to have well balanced. And to me, any blend I did with heavy 1B was just a little too much tannins. Yeah,
I would agree with that too. I actually really liked 1B quite a bit. I thought it was the most kind of standout flavor of all of them. But once I started blending it, I just couldn't get it to work. And I found myself moving away from it. When I reduced it in whatever I was doing, I liked it better that way. But at the same time, it's still definitely a component, in any of the blends. I think it adds, because I tried it without it too, and I felt like it added to whatever it was. I will say this one, I really feel like the complementary flavors between the barrels is maybe a little more prominent than it was in the first one, where you maybe could have dropped one of those smaller percentages of the blend and still been okay. With this one, I feel like each one really actually has a nice component, into the mix where it's necessary to have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's kind of the great thing about this program is, if we were given these, six barrels initially, 1B may have been the standout. But then once you start blending and working through that, it's like, I don't know, like maybe it gets a little too heavy. And that's kind of the fun part about all of this.
And I think for those watching at home or watching after the fact, right, the cool thing about the Breaking the Seal bottles that we did, so with the first release, now with the second release, is this is really what you could do at home, but we get to do it on a much larger level, right? Take a corn bourbon, right? Your favorite corn bourbon. If you don't have one, mellow corn's a great base, right? Find a wheated whiskey or a very high wheated bourbon. Find a rye or very high rye bourbon, and just start blending different ratios, right? You want to get probably similar ages, similar proofs for the most part, so it's a fair fight. But you can do the same experimentation at home and drastically see how much just varying different levels changes the blend. And that's the great thing about Breaking the Seal is this is what we're doing at a much larger scale, right? Instead of doing it with just bottles and a glass or two, we're doing it with full-size barrels, which is super fun. And I do encourage folks to go out and try that. It's a really fun experimentation.
Yeah, no, and I think one of the things that's great about blending, and this is what Danny and I just really geek out on, is just the amount of. I mean, when you taste these individually, they're all unique. You get that single barrel, you get that real uniqueness of a single barrel profile. When you start combining these things, it's like, I don't know, it's literally like a chemistry experiment. Like new things are just popping up just from these things kind of getting mashed together, and it's really interesting. And that's what I think is literally for us, that's what makes going into every single batch exciting, because it's basically like an entirely new product. which
So
is,
there,
a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun.
is there anyone that's standing out to anyone right now, or either good or bad?
Vice versa.
Or either good or bad.
I have one
I
I'd
mean-
like to remove. Do you?
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Let's get negative
Yeah,
first.
Yeah,
What do you
let's
guys-
do that.
Eric,
What aren't you feeling, Eric?
I'm not feeling the first one. Every time
Mhm.
I've sipped it, it's not working for me.
Go. I mean,
I
got it.
agree, and that was
I
definitely
really-
Jordan. So let's get.
Yeah, we got tipped off at the beginning of this.
No, it's true. It's
I really like 3A, and I'm surprised because it has so much 3A in it. But
You mean you like 3?
well, the third barrel. No, it's
Oh,
got
you mean the blend for number
yeah,
1?
the blend.
Yeah.
It's got
So
it's got
to
a
me-
lot of third barrel, but
Yep.
I thought 3A was incredibly easy to drink, but I felt like it played a smaller role in the blend, maybe, and maybe number 1's my blend. I was trying to do the math in my head of what I sent over, but I could be talking against myself. But I didn't feel like 3A had that punch that I really wanted, and to hit the high notes, a lot of different flavors and profiles, and so I'm kind of with you on that one, Eric.
Yeah, I am too. And with that first blend, it highlights. It's weird because it's high corn, but it's a little bit more spicy and it tastes a little bit more youthful than the other blends to me too, which is standing out. Not it's just whatever combination just isn't pulling out the best of things. It's just okay. So I mean, Nick, unless you're super in love with that first glass, I'd say we remove that from the mix.
Yeah, I'm going back and forth between number 1 and number 2 because they're both high on the 3A, but number 2 pulls in more of the other components to it.
Yep.
Trying to get a kind of back and forth between those. Sipping them side by side, I do think I like number 2 a little bit better than number 1 by comparison. I do think
Sounds like
it's a little more well-rounded overall.
Sounds like number 1's on the chopping block to be gone.
All right. And we're not revealing who's
We're not
blend it
revealing
was
who's
until
no. We'll keep it
Like
going.
a game
Then you
show.
can
All of a
kinda
sudden we get. I wish we had
eliminate,
like
you know
a
what I
big
mean?
X.
So
we
wait
could
till
put
the end.
and they're out. Yeah. Like Eric, we got the lights in the back. You can. Who's ever got the red square? You're out.
that's why I put up red on tonight.
Yeah. I love it.
Hold on, nobody's wearing green. I mean, come on, guys. It's in. St.
This is
Patty's
a little
Day.
green.
Dude, we're talking about. I got it right there.
Oh, there you
There
go.
it is. There
I
it is.
took
So
off
I'm
my
wearing, like-
rock tie earlier. I should have left it on.
a greenish plaid shirt and like greenish, they're like dark green pants. My wife's like, "Oh, you big St. Patty's Day today?" I'm like, didn't realize it was St. Patty's Day, but now I feel like I need to go change because it looked like a leprechaun apparently. And,
Yeah, it's when you know you're getting old, or it's still
Yeah.
COVID season when it's St. Patty's Day, and you're like, I'm not at a bar
what
yet.
day of the week is it again?
Yeah, exactly. Just be happy you actually put pants on, Blake. Like, she should just be happy with that. Like, honestly. I mean, nowadays, it's all you can ask for.
That's a win.
That's
a
a win.
win in my book. Yeah. All right.
So one is gone. We got one
One's
out.
gone. I keep going back to 3. 3's a nice blend.
I really like 3 and 2.
Yeah.
The nose on 2 is kind of
You know what's interesting? So I've
get
been
like
really
some
digging into these
caramel.
high wheat blends. I think that was the 3 and 4 were high wheat, if I'm not mistaken. Correct?
Yeah.
Like really high wheat. You know what's
like 'em.
interesting? They almost because the Breaking the Seal 1 was a high rye, but with this
Yeah.
high wheat combined with 3A and 1B on the smaller side, almost has like that Breaking the Seal, the original. I'm almost getting a little bit of a flavor profile from the original Breaking.
It was nice. It was
But
nice.
it's coming from a high wheat, which
Yeah.
is to me unique.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we could talk about 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And I think between those two, maybe eliminate one of those two, and then we're talking about how whatever that one is compares against number 2. Because I think 3 and 4 definitely have some similarities. I'm getting some like fruit on the nose, some sweetness, maybe some cherries. With number 4, I'm getting like almost like a musty funk on the
I get almost like a
I'm not
tannicky.
getting on number 3.
Yeah.
Number 3 is a little more rounded for me.
Mhm.
That's kind of my issue with 4 is I like it, and then on the end it just spikes a little bit more than I want it to. Whereas 3 is a little more rounded throughout.
Yep.
And 3's got a great nose.
Yeah, I like 3 a lot.
And I would say interesting 2B on its own. I was probably the least impressive of the barrels, at least the one that stood out the least.
So it sounds like number 4 is gone.
Number 4 is gone.
Danny, cue the X.
Then there were 2.
Get the X out,
Number
Danny.
4 is gone. Get it out of here.
Does anybody need to reload their blends?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, now that I think you guys should reload the 2 that you have left and kind of go.
Yeah,
out
I'm gonna do a little bit of a dump here.
I'm trying to put the blend in the chat for y'all.
You know what? And I'm gonna go to the exact same glasses. That way, I'm not.
It's funny. It's always the best blending bourbons from a mash perspective are usually the worst from a single barrel perspective. That's how it always works. And just this is the first time I'm trying some. This is the first time I'm trying 3 and 4 at least. And these are I really like 3. 3 is delicious.
Yeah, 2B wasn't bad though. It just I feel like it was the least. It stood out the least. I was going back to notes. Buttery. We said buttery mouthfeel on that one, so we did talk about that having a kind of a different mouthfeel. Than the others.
I don't think we have found a 45% wheat mash bill yet that was like a standalone single barrel, right? I don't think so.
I don't know. Well, the wheat is tricky. I mean, it's really got at least wheat gets. It's almost like if this is how old is this wheat, Danny? 4 years old.
Yeah,
it's kind of like in that puberty age. It's like in that kind of awkward teenager age. No, that's kind of how we all.
But needs something to kind of build upon it more than the others do.
But it's an incredible blending agent. Like it transforms. Even if we just dump a little bit of it in, it transforms all our blends.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right, so I am loading up here.
While you're jumping into that, how was you saw you were at Sawgrass?
TPC?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So one of the greatest things about being in Jacksonville is TPC week, and I'd be lying if I didn't say that I fully indulge on occasions at the TPC weekend. But no, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's in your backyard. There's a lot going on, and it's just a fun event for sure.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Boy, that nose on the 3rd is just great.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. So we're between 2 and 3,
2
correct?
and 3.
Okay, so this is 2, and then 1.5. That gets interesting.
My laptop just consistently smells like bourbon.
Danny, why don't you tell everyone what happened to your car? That's a good story while everyone's blending. Listen to this.
Oh, this should be a good one.
World class. Oh, it's crazy stuff.
Wait, what happened to my car?
Sherry?
Oh, shit. Yeah. I got a car and it has the computer, the whole
the
radio is just this computer touchscreen thing, right? So I got this Oloroso Sherry experiment that I'm super happy to bring over to the warehouse and taste everybody. Throw it in the back seat. I take a turn, the top falls off. I got 5 gallons of fucking bourbon just pours out in my car.
So I swear I was not drinking it. Just
my car stinks.
So all of a sudden, all the screens just shut down. Even the miles per hour is digital, and that shuts down. So apparently they keep all the little mini computers in the floorboards underneath the passenger seat, and they all just flood it out. So I bring it in, and I'm not sure what happened. The radio just died.
No clue what could happen.
A day later, he's like, "Yeah, we opened it up, and there's all this liquid in there."
smells like
that's
wine.
weird. Maybe my son spilled something.
Yeah. Was it raining? I don't know if there's maybe a leak in the roof or.
$12,000. I had to put it through insurance.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my gosh.
Like wild. Oh.
Oh jeez.
Well,
So I just ordered like these like little.
oh, Danny.
Danny
The crux of the story.
Eric, what do we do? We give him the X. He's out.
Get him out of
He's
here.
just pausing too. His internet's fine.
Yeah, no, that's what happens. He
Yeah,
must
make it
have
dramatic.
Sherry on his laptop right there, but
Yeah.
but here he comes.
Yeah,
But anyway,
Danny's gone.
Very incident.
There he is.
He's
Girlfriend, like what happened?
don't worry about it, Danny.
Damn, I just missed the.
It's okay. You missed the
Punchline. We
game.
already got
Danny,
rid
we
of
didn't.
You might want to
we
get some
didn't
all
hear
other
any of
formats too.
Yeah. Now I got these containers that have like clamps on them now, so we're good.
Oh man.
So-
So going back to these, I mean, it is really interesting, but I keep coming back to number 3.
Me
To
too.
me, 3 just has, it's full bodied and you're tasting them side by side, and and I know they're probably similar proofs, similar ages, everything, but to me, 3 taste way more robust and rich and just a lot more going
I
on.
feel like this is going to be a bottle that people are really going to like. That blend.
Mhm.
I know. I actually don't even know whose blend 3 is.
I know. I'm trying to remember like what I sent over, and I'm like, I think I sent over something similar, but I don't think I sent over that exact same thing.
I don't even care who sent this over. It's just damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys getting that at all? Maybe, I don't know. I haven't had the original Breaking the Seal in a while. I just had such a unique kind of spicy note to it. I feel like I'm getting this like very, I don't know, it just could be just from memory. It might not even be right, but I felt like it had a similar profile.
I feel like it did.
Oh, nice.
To me, this has way more caramel like
Yep.
structure, kind of all of that. And the original Breaking the Seal had a little more spice, and
Yep.
and I also like the fact that I think Danny is palate cleansing with a White Claw there.
Dude, Jersey, man. It's a Jersey cleanse.
I mean, I thought I was going to be pretentious with Pellegrino or Perrier, but Danny's out there just pounding White Claws between samples.
Crushing those black cherries.
Yeah, the first Breaking the Seal was good.
Not as spicy as I remember, though.
What, Breaking the Seal?
You were Breaking the Seal, yeah.
Yeah,
My first one,
some air mellowed it out a little bit.
yeah, I mean, I got
Don't get me wrong, it's delicious.
bottles about half, but I guess I was remembering as being more spicy. I would say number 2 definitely has more of a kick to it than the original Breaking the Seal, whereas number 3 is really this kind of the mouthfeel. It's a very creamy
It's delicious.
mouthfeel. It doesn't really have that kind of like heat, that kick that you get. Sometimes, I mean, considering the proof too, it's surprising how kind of easily drinkable it is.
And
Yeah,
these
this
blends
is-
these blends just started their journey. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna grow from here. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, come back to this tomorrow morning,
it'll
or
be really it'll really open up significantly.
I would share that third blend with anyone and be happy. I mean, people who drink high proof, people who don't, they're going to like this. Nick, you're right. It has a nice creamy mouthfeel. Nose is good. It's just a well-rounded sip.
Mm-hmm.
Is this your blend?
It's gorgeous.
I don't know what my blend is.
Because it's the only one with half milliliter marks on it.
Yeah, and it's very much up Jordan's alley.
And he's the one like
I actually-
everyone's gonna like this.
I
Everyone's
actually
gonna
don't.
like
Well, it is good though.
well, wait, go back. Let's go back to.
I don't know what I said. Now I need to look what I sent in.
I know. See, I think I'm something similar, but I don't think I'm this exact. Although, I mean, you go back to number 2, and I'm getting a ton of like just butterscotchy, interesting notes on the nose.
I think the immediate palate of 2 is a little, I don't know, for me it's a little mellow at first, and then it's a little creamy too before it ramps up. And I that's I think the best part of two is that initial palate.
Yeah, I think for me too, just if you're tasting it side by side against three, it's like tasting, vanilla ice cream against, vanilla ice cream and like a cherry cobbler. Like there's just way more going on when you're having vanilla ice cream and a cherry cobbler. And they're both very good, but just, a lot more interesting notes on three. And I really hope I'm number three because I'm talking it way up. But
I'd be happy whoever number three is because I just like this damn blend.
Yeah, I gotta say I'm liking number three. Of these two kind of component blends here. I think three's it's just got that really rich, creamy mouthfeel. And honestly, I think it really exemplifies the idea of blending, the whole being greater than the sum of the parts, because that 2B barrel on its own really was not.
No, that was the least of the three barrels.
It's really not very memorable at all. But this component blend is actually, it does kind of strike you right away. It struck me the first time I had it as the cherries on the nose, and then this creamy mouthfeel. I think it's even better than the barrel was on its own from the mouthfeel perspective. So
that's an interesting point, Nick. You're right, because when we pick these barrels, number two is just like, yeah, okay, we'll pick number two. Like we talked a ton about the 1 series, we talked a ton about the 3 series. Number two is like, yeah, okay, this tastes good, and it was good. Don't get me wrong, like it was good, but we didn't like have this huge dissection of it. But then in this blend, it just builds a base, which I don't think any of us expected.
I was shocked when it's all that high of wheat. I go, whoa.
I think
to me, I'm like taking notes. I'm like, this is good. I'm like, they got to go higher wheat now. Like, it's actually really interesting. But what we're excited about too is, I think this whole crop, the lot of barrels we have for private select this go around, were all three of them were equally really good. It's actually similar to our batch 6, and to me, I think it's to Nick. I think what you just said is so spot on. It's with the sum equal to the parts. I think it just all plays very nicely together. So
yeah.
So are we aligned on 3? Because I'd love to do one more build of it myself and taste it more as we just talk about how folks can get it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
Eric,
Mike and Danny, I think
Eric,
this is kind of what y'all were like, envisioning for the private select program in general, is to just let people realize like how big of blending is. You can taste a barrel and it's fantastic, but when you're talking about building a blend, like there's a lot of other components that come into play, right?
Yeah, to me, Danny and I, we got our DSP, we built a blending and bottling line because we see the future of our business could be in this private select series. Mm-hmm. Basically what we're doing now is small batch blending and just using kind of unique mash bills. And I think for what we, Danny can speak to it more than I can, but I think the flavor profile that you can extract from just 3 mashes, I think sky's the limit.
That's wild.
It's unbelievable to me. This 3 is so surprising. I'll be honest, I am so shocked with this flavor profile from 3.
Yeah.
And they're all good. I like them all. I just, this one in
good.
particular was delicious.
That's why whenever it comes up, when somebody says, MGP, everyone's got MGP, it's all the same. Yeah. It's until you've really dug into it, then you realize the variation. They're talking different brands of MGP. This is literally 3 different barrels of MGP. That's it. It's as small of a scale as you can possibly get. Yep. And the difference is so tremendous. And we can see, just starting from the single barrel to now 4 blends of probably many more that we started with, the variation across it is incredible. So there's certainly something to be said for what's added at this point. Of just purely, one, getting to the barrels you like, which we did last time, and which you guys did ahead of even that, to give us good selections to start with. And then secondly, to get to a blend that's so dramatically different with literally the same barrels, right?
Yeah, very different.
Well, so because I'd love to, 1, build another glass, and then 2, find out who had all the blends. So are we good on 3 then?
I'm good on 3.
I'm good on 3.
All right. Yeah. Let's lock in 3 because now I want to compare it against the first Breaking Seal too. So, Danny, do you want to go through and actually, why don't we reveal it in order of 1, 4, 2, 3? Who did what blend? That would be good to know.
Who's in last place, Danny?
And Danny, do you know the
It was
proofs, Danny, do
mine.
you know the proofs on these two by any chance?
I don't have the exact proof. They're all in like the 114 to 116 range.
Got it.
Yeah, number one was mine.
Get him out of here.
You know what's funny about it is I literally only went heavy on 1B and 3A for what I tested. I didn't go heavy on 2B at all. I wanted to save enough, I had enough for this, and I said between those two, I want to find where the component of one against the other and just use 2B as really something small in between. And that's what surprised me about how good it was when 2B went high, because I didn't go that direction at all when I was going through my blends.
Yeah. So one was Nick, is that right?
One was me.
One was Nick.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, that was the blended mash bill was 88% corn. So it was really corn dominant. Let's go to 4. So blend 4 was Blake.
Huh.
Was it really? I thought I was number 3 this whole time. Hold on. So what did I didn't go heavy 2B?
You did go heavy 2B. You went about half 2B.
Okay.
And then you went quarter 1 and 3. So half of it was that wheated mash bill, then a quarter was the rye mash bill, and the quarter was the corn mash bill.
So whoever went 3, they just went heavier 2B, and son of a gun, if it's Jordan again,
You know what's weird? What's weird? It's not. They didn't go that much heavier. You were at 50% of that. They went 67%. So they jumped up a little.
Just hey, I don't know who did the third blend, but boy, did they do it well, huh?
But boy, was it good. And I would have been talking number 4 up way more had I no. But no, I mean, I think it goes to show like just a small percentage change, because I'm assuming what is Jordan's in that I was tasting in number 3 is what I was envisioning it to be. So that was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
My blending skills are available for consulting fees.
I was gonna say, Danny, we need like a trophy, like when like Iowa plays Nebraska in a big football game, or
they've got
we need like an annual
the
Stanley
big
Cup.
Axe trophy.
I'll work on that.
Well, no, we got things. We'll think of something fun, Jordan. I mean, this is
Blend 3 was mine, right? Before I gloat too much.
Oh, I was looking at the chat, so I just
it was
with Eric.
Yeah. Well, when we got Jordan's like blending, it was like 0.5 milliliters. It was like very exact.
So I was essentially, I was like 1 and 3 were 2 milliliters, and 2 was 4, and Jordan was like 6 and 1 and 1.5 each of the. That's a confusing way of saying.
So the way I actually did mine was really, so when I sent it to Danny, I did really small blends, right? Because honestly, you just needed a sip to know what was going to work and what wasn't going to work, and then build it up from the nose afterwards. So what I actually set in was the morning blend that was just good when I tasted it was 0.5 of 1, 2 milliliters of 2, 0.5 of 3. And it was funny because like really little 1, really little 3, and then a lot of 2, which was the base. But even just doing this blend like 1 milliliter 1, 2 milliliters 2, 1 milliliter 3, it was 2. It was just off-putting, right? So it was just cutting down the 1 and 3 and playing off 2, which surprised the hell out of me. Because when I first started this, I was building it off 3 because I thought 3 was going to be that base building that was just going to work, or the base bourbon that was just going to work, and it didn't work at all. And I tried 1 with 1 being heavy. That totally didn't work at all.
Yeah.
So then it was just honing in on what played well with 2. This just ended up working out good.
Which is funny because I kind of had the same, experience where I tried to build 1 off of 3 and it just was not going well at all. And then I had some decent blends I felt like off of 1B, but ultimately it was 2B. I'm like, wow, this really outshines. And but kind of I had the advantage where I wasn't focused on them as much as a single barrel. And so I think that kind of helped me as well, because I'm just going in a little more, under the radar of like which barrel, will make the best blend. And do we, I know Dave put
doing an approximate release date.
Bottling's pretty soon, right?
And it's going to be the first one we're doing in our facility. We're looking to start it next week.
Yeah, I'm dumping these barrels.
We're going to be going right into the pro.
So will this be the inaugural blend that goes through that facility?
This will be the first ever blend with our DSP.
Right, all right. No pressure.
We only thought that was just very fitting.
The good thing is we feel confident in our ability, because we just completed. The first thing we did in the facility was we did that 75 barrel dump for barrel strength, which was like, I wanted to do like 1 barrel to start. Let's see how it goes. Just jump right in. We did 75.
Go 75.
Like
we jumped. Yeah.
We jumped so many
right into it.
I mean, if we need to like encase a bottle of this with a picture of the blender, we could do that. If you need a headshot, I'll send it over. I can go.
It will be the first, the first finished product that comes out.
That's exciting. No, that's actually super exciting. I think that makes Breaking the Seel Part Deux even more exciting and more special for those folks to get a bottle.
Yeah, we're really, I mean, this is for us, it's been a long time coming to get this facility off the ground. I mean, if any of our distributors are watching, I've been saying, in January and December, I'm like, it's coming soon. And then in January, it's coming soon. And then
it's here now.
And then I think I threw COVID in there. And then now here we are in March. So we're excited to get this off the ground. It's been a lot of work. And Danny and I spoke about it. We want to get going. And we said, we're going Breaking the Seal #1 right out of the gate.
Hell yeah.
Excellent.
Amen.
Awesome. Excellent.
I think we should give some props to Eric though for his close blend.
That was a very good blend. Blend.
Awesome job, Eric.
Yeah, nice job. Well, this has been really fun. I do want to thank all those watching at home. This will be bottled up super soon. We'll make sure that we convey to Breaking Bourbon Single Barrel Club members, to Bourbonr Pro Club members. They'll definitely get first crack at these bottles. They'll probably sell out quickly and mingle even better as it has time to just sit in the bottle with all those different blends. So I think those folks who do get a bottle are going to be very happy. And especially if you're lucky enough to have both Part 1 and Part 2 to compare against each other, it's going to be a treat, that's for sure. So Danny, Mike, definitely want to thank you guys for affording us this opportunity to create this custom blend, the first going through Penelope's new mixing line, which is fantastic. I think we're all super excited to hear that. But, one more time, why don't you just tell the folks at home a little bit about Penelope Bourbon and what they can expect from you in 2021.
Yeah, Danny, why don't you end this for us? I started it. You can kick it off or end it for us.
I mean, Penelope Bourbon 2021, we got our, our core products, our 80 proof and our barrel strength that are, batch 6 is dropping next week. And then we just said, we opened up our facility and we're gonna do a lot of R&D out of that and some of this private select series. And we have a lot of cool stuff in the line this year, and we're real excited.
Awesome. And Blake, why don't you tell folks at home a little bit about Seelbach?
Yeah, so obviously you can find this blend at Seelbach. We have batch or barrel strength batch number. Let's see, we're around 7.
6, baby.
6.
Coming to our warehouse on Monday.
Coming in hot, and so we'll have that up, as well as some other Penelope products, and so any single barrels, private picks, all that fun stuff. Check out seelbachs.com. That's SEELBACHS. And Jordan, Eric, Nick, thanks for having me. Always fun. Always enjoy doing these things. It's kind of hard to complain about jumping in and doing fun experiments like this. So Mike and Danny, as always, thank you so much for allowing us to do these kind of experiments. I know there are a lot of work and a lot of behind the scenes that you don't have to do these kind of things with us. So we really do appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you guys. This is awesome, man. It's always fun.
Yeah. And Eric, why don't you take it home for the folks and explain what Breaking Bourbon is?
Sure. We're Breaking Bourbon. And you can find us at breakingbourbon.com, of course, and on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. No, not TikTok, but, and Instagram and all that. We do reviews every day of the week. We have articles. The release calendar is hot this time of year, and that's getting updated pretty much every week now. There's a lot of stuff that's unconfirmed or don't have a solid release date, but there's a lot of expected in 2021 right now. So take a look at that. And we got another, really in-depth review coming tomorrow. And I think that's about it. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Once again, thanks all for those at home who watched and for those who are catching the recap. Really, really appreciate you tuning in. Definitely check out the Breaking Bourbon Single Barrel Club and Bourbonr Pro Club to snag a bottle of Breaking the Seel Part Deux. Once again, Danny and Mike, thank you so much from Penelope. We really look forward to getting our hands on this bottle and tasting it more. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys soon. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Good night. Bye-bye.